today we have Le Garçon en Bleu, or The Boy in Blue, painted by Expressionist painter Chaim Soutine in 1924. It's oil on canvas and located in the High Museum.
And one of the first things that really pops out when we look at this painting are his brushstrokes. They're very interesting.
Yes, that's something that I noticed when I first looked at this painting as well. They're very carefully placed, but upon first glance, they can give this impression of rushed imprecision, which we know is a characteristic of this painter. He would often work very, very quickly and complete his paintings in like one session. And we can see that the hat on top of this man's head is almost reminiscent of a halo. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's one of the more interesting aspects of this painting because the subject itself is a working class man, but he's positioned as a sort of religious figure, in the halo, and it's definitely referencing religious paintings, yet applying them in a new way by using a working class subject.
Yeah, and working class, that might be indicative of his upbringing because he is a Russian painter, but he's Belarusian by birth. He was brought up in a Lithuanian Jewish ghetto and was accepted to an academy that was accepting of Jewish people back then, and that's where he learned about Russian art and avant-garde movements, which definitely have an influence on him as a painter. And then once he finished with that school, he went to France to further his education, and he found himself often at museums like the Louvre, which where he would gather more inspiration than he would in his classrooms.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about this painting is how it uses a working class subject, which wasn't very common at the time. And then, in addition, if we look at the painting itself, the colors he uses, the expression of the subject, we can definitely see, references to Soutine's upbringing as a poor Jew. There's definitely a sense of poverty. The colors are all, very dark. There's a tone of despair, especially within the subject's face.
Right. And talking about the subject's body composition, his neck and hands seem very unfinished and mangled, and which might be indicative of his brushstrokes, but also may be indicative of the different kind of struggles that you have as somebody who's working class and you work with your hands and your body gets strained and other things like that.
Yeah, I definitely think that his body shows signs of weathering, which, I think very, very strongly suggests that this is a working class subject.
Hmm